A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed an honor and a privilege to have the 16th career conversation on maximizing career guidance and career development. This is a series that I started about 7 months back in the pandemic, and today I'm very privileged and humbled to have a wonderful friend and colleague in the United States, Ms. Natalie Kaufman. She's a seasoned career practitioner, and she will be sharing her insights on this great topic that I feel very excited and very energized to speak and to share with the global careers community. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raza. And I just wanted to begin with saying, for me, it's good morning. And I point that out because what I have discovered in my 35 plus year journey as a career development professional is it's all about the global community. It's all about collaboration. It's all about interconnection to best serve your individual client needs. So even though I've been as a private practitioner acting locally and individually, in order to best serve the individuals I work with, I need to understand the big picture, the overall perspective, and the global connection.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Natalie. And I would like to seek your wisdom on how you came to this field of career guidance, career education, career development. What was your main? Did you come into this profession due to happenstance, or did you design your career in a way that you wanted to be in careers in the careers profession as a first choice? So I'm very curious to know how you came into this careers community, careers development field.
What's so interesting about folks who do career development is not many start out in their younger years saying, I want to be a career counselor. I myself did not. I wanted to go into medicine. I used to run around with a little plastic medical kit filled with candy pills and a stethoscope and thermometer. In high school, I read a book called The Terminal Man and decided I wanted to do neurosurgery. In college, I actually was an animal behavior major and did single cell recording in rhesus macaque monkeys, continued to do that after graduation at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. We were studying the basal ganglia and looking at the relationship of that area of the brain to movement disorders as well as Alzheimer's. And back when I was doing research on the brain, we believed that brain cells die and don't regenerate. We've since found out that's not the case. And what I've learned is what was is not, and never again will be. What is change. While at Hopkins, I was able to get my graduate degree for free and wound up in the career counseling field. My graduate degree is in applied behavioral counseling, and I have a career counseling concentration. My desire has always been to help people, and I found that as a counselor, I could, for me and what I bring to the table, be more helpful doing counseling than in the field of medicine. And what I found too is with career counseling, the end result is always positive and wonderful because people get employed.
Excellent. It was wonderful to learn about your very diverse educational background and higher education background, and how you connect your compassion. And that is so, for those of you who have not met Natalie, Natalie is one of my most compassionate colleagues that I am very fortunate to meet in Japan through the APCDA conference. Very compassionate and very human-centered. I think we need more professionals like her in our careers community. So now, talking about this theme of this conference, or these videos that I'm doing of maximizing career guidance and career development, and this thought came into my mind as a person who's always coming up with new ideas, creativity, is the IAVG conference. The IAVG conference for 2021. The theme of this conference is maximizing career guidance and career development. So I was very fortunate to interview and seek perspectives from leading influencers from around the globe. So I wanted to seek your perspective on how do you believe we can optimize A, and B, advocate, and C, amplify the profession through the lens of practitioners, through professional associations, through researchers, through our practice, and through as a careers community.
What you have to do is continue to listen to your clients' needs as you read what's available in books, in social media, in the newspapers, listen to radio, listen to TV. And you also have to connect with others who are doing what you're doing. So IAVG, NCDA, APCDA, and other organizations help with doing that. But also, we as career development professionals always have to link with the people who are hiring. So we need to be talking to recruiters. We need to be talking to HR professionals. And the other thing we need to do is we need to understand the business mentality. So it's not just talking to the HR people who do the hiring, but it's talking to the CEOs who are planning for that unknown future, just like we're helping our clients individually help them develop and plan for their unknown future.
Excellent. I like your perspective of not just focusing on the careers community per se, but also the influencers, the people that are managing strategic positions like the CEO, the corporate sector. And I think the corporate sector has a significant role, because I know in our region there are a lot of career initiatives through the corporate social responsibility, which is a department that is designed to support and fund career projects. And that is these departments are available all over the world. So I think it's important to diversify our lens and not have just a pigeonhole perspective per se, but the more people we are able to draw upon, that's how we will be able to optimize. So I would like to seek your perspective. As you know, in this pandemic, a lot of people are going through very difficult times, and we are very fortunate and very blessed to be communicating through the internet. But not many people have the internet. Not many people have digital devices. So how, in your humble opinion, what will you recommend to increase access to people that are having a lot of difficult times due to job loss, due to mental health, due to not finding their first job yet? Talking about college graduates, the international students that are in a flux, whether to stay, whether to go for their masters. So how do you cater to people, this big pool of people that require our services, but that don't have technology services easily available? Can you share your perspective on that?
Absolutely. There's 101 things that we need to do, and we need to do them all at once. And when you think of it that way, it seems so overwhelming and stressful. But at the same time, you have to take one step at a time to realize those 101 things to do all at once. So for example, when you're talking with your client and you're hearing the issues that are creating challenge for the client, what you're doing is taking your own TV remote control, if you will, and not do things for the client, but give your client the remote control so she and he themselves can control things? What kinds of things can they do to help with the internet connection? Meanwhile, what you're doing is you're talking to your fellow professionals. You're talking to your local government representatives. You're talking to your government representatives at the state level, at the national level. You're trying to connect to corporations, to government agencies, to nonprofits, to community support systems that connect everyone across the globe to making these things happen. So it's not you yourself, it's not the client herself or himself, it's not your network of career development professionals, it's everyone moving together at the same time, step by step, to make change happen.
Excellent. I really love this perspective of broadening our lens and having an institutional framework per se to ensure that it is not an individual effort, but it is making sure that the stakeholders that are involved in this process of change, whether that's the government, whether that is Congress, whether that's the assembly in different countries, whether that's the influencers, whether that's the corporate sector, have an integrated, cohesive system that ensures change. So I really like that perspective. Going on to a very
what I'd like to tell people, Raza, is we're not just one. If we look at where that one comes from, it comes from a whole hand of five. When we look at that hand of five is joined by another hand of five, and together that collaboration, that integration, that's what makes things happen. And also too, the willingness to do, not just standing still, but doing. Even if you think at first, well, that's not going to make any difference. If you keep on going forward, the next step is even further of a difference, even more of a difference.
I like this metaphor, and I'm going to use this now on for the way forward. The power of collective and collaborative teamwork, and the willingness and the intent and the authenticity of doing, not just staying put, like, oh, this is too overwhelming, we can't do this. So even a drop makes a difference, right? So I really like this perspective.
Absolutely.
That was inspiring. So going something that is something very interesting, very meaningful. The United Nations has various days around the globe for various different causes. And we do a lot of work. The careers community, not because I belong to the careers community, but I've seen the amount of efforts, the amount of transformation that is done on teachers, on students, on parents, on communities. And this is a no-brainer, as they often say in the US, that I'm a bit surprised, and I'm more wondering, why don't we have a day of a UN International Careers and Livelihood Day? So I would just like to seek your perspective, and what are the first baby steps that we can do and collect?
Well, I'm very proud to be part of
the strategy to make this happen.
I'm very proud, Raza, to be part of a collaborative effort to move to make this happen. You and I have talked about this, and we've also talked about how to bring others, again with that integrated effort, how to bring the NCDA Global Connections community together with the different organizations like APCDA, like the Connexus Group. How together can we all move to show the UN that this is something that needs to be done?
Thank you for sharing, again, mentioning that metaphor of together we can make a difference. And last but not the least, I would like to seek your valuable wisdom, your closing thoughts. We are going through various difficult times. What advice would you like to give to everyone that is listening to you around the globe, the career scholars, the career practitioners, the teacher educators, the students, the aspiring career counselors. This is a profession that contributes towards UN Sustainable Development Goals. What will be your, as a seasoned career practitioner, what will be your advice? A, for people that are entering this profession, and B, for people that are already in this profession and that can add more collaborating with people, as you rightly said, through this concept.
One of the things I like to do is show people tangibles. So tangibly, I'd like to invite those of you in the audience watching Raza and I talk to take your right hand and put it over your heart. Because when you do this, what you're doing is you are connecting and integrating with everyone around the globe. And take your left hand now and put it on top of your right hand. And what you're doing is you're feeling everyone around the world. You're feeling all of us together, working together to make things happen. But remember what I said earlier, you need to move. So in helping us all move, we're going to take our hands that are on our heart and throw them up in the air. This is what my granddaughter, who's just 2 years and 3 months, does all the time to show the interconnectedness of all with nature as well. It's nature and humankind. Remembering both pieces need to make the change that will help us all do the best we can and be successful in what we do. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. That was a very inspiring and a very compassionate close. I am so honored to have met you over the years, and our collaboration has always strengthened over the years as well. Thank you very much for your time, your valuable insights, and viewers. I will be interviewing the host of the IAVG conference for 2021 that is coming up, and I'm excited where this concept started. So the next series will be from the IAVG 2021 host, Miss Elizabeth. So on that note, thank you very much. Take good care and stay safe and remain hopeful. Thank you.
Bye-bye.